freedoms of information where they cannot attend unless they have a residency that's fully accredited. Okay, that to me is the first step. The second step is these institutions have to be fully accredited, and there can be no, quote, backroom deals where $2,000, $5,000, and that goes on in Canada, in the province of Ontario. It's been identified. There is no doubt about it. And the reality is it's now so severe that what is in the best general interest of the motoring public has to be brought forward. And I commend Florida for doing what they're doing. And Florida, and in the next little while, will probably be the safest state to travel in my opinion, because anyone that's crossing into that line, over that line, is going to be fully accredited, and they know what's going to happen if they're not.
Yeah, they're going to get shut down, that's for sure. I mean, yeah, good for them, but I mean, they, kind of did it like after a serious accident already happened, which is unfortunate. But I mean, I guess better late than never, I guess, at this point, right?
Well, and we can't forget that one that happened in Texas as well, where I believe the driver was from Nicaragua or something like that. And, he killed several people just outside of Dallas.
But the thing I don't like the most right now is because, like, I guess it came out that the Florida U-turn thing, it ended up like being like 3 people from, like, I forgot what exact country they're from. So now everybody's like on TikToks and YouTube's like commenting like, oh, what, now you guys are going to forget about it because those people were different color? Like, no, like,
no.
It got to the point where, like, it's seriously getting to the point where it's like kind of like disgusting, if you ask me, because like, even if I never said anything bad about the Indian community, and then like I even get in my videos, I get like comments of like just showing like white people or like black people that like got into trucking accidents and killed people and stuff like that. But it's like, bro, like they're totally missing the point. You know what I mean? It's like
I agree, Bobby.
And I hate to say that those people, you know what I mean, were here legally, whatever. But it's at the point, like, you know what I mean. But this is the whole point, what we're fighting for in trucking. Because, like, the whole scope of it is like if you come here, you speak English, you do everything, that's great, you know what I mean? But it's like, you don't speak English, you get these licenses, and you're just killing the rates, and you're killing the trucking market, and you're just, like, honestly just destroying it. And I don't think that's the thing that they don't understand,
I support that. And at the end of the day, the 3 people that were unalived were from Haiti. And they were all here legally. Okay. So what happens is you've got, in essence, a perfect storm, okay? And you got to address these one at a time. You got to address the physical truck operator and the skill they have, and make sure they understand English, that there's no excuse for them not to. And if they don't understand it, that is a huge problem, as been demonstrated. What I find fascinating is that a driver in Florida got a speeding ticket in New Mexico, and I've listened to the 26-minute tape interaction with the New Mexican state trooper where he got a speeding ticket, and he understood English fine. I could not believe that, and that is a problem. And the stereotypes that we're seeing, that people are getting involved in, are doing nothing but raising the tensions. And it's not helping. We have to address the problems, not deflect the problems.
Yeah, what I'm seeing from like in the community specifically, I don't want to mispronounce it, anybody mad, but like the Sheik or Sheik, whatever it is like they're kind of now like kind of just getting mad, like that, in their country they were whatever, got into the whole religious war or whatever, all that stuff happened. So they're kind of like, like just had a bad taste in their mouth from that. So now they're just taking this as an attack on them and like another coming of that, which the two have nothing to do with each other whatsoever. You know what I mean?
Totally agree. Totally.
And totally. I don't think it's only I don't even think it's like just the Sikh Indian people. I think it's just Indian people in general.
Exactly. Well, there's Sikh, there's Hindus, and then there's a couple other minor cultures in there.
Yeah, I'm saying, but all the different cultures in the Indian community are still the ones that are taking advantage of these driving schools and these loopholes for these visas, not just the Sikh community themselves.
I support that. You're 100% correct. You've got the Hindus, you've got the Punjabis, you've got a mixed sleeper. There you go. You got a mixed sleeper of cultures, and they've all found a way to fast track and beat the system.
Yeah.
But here's the problem: them beating the system, it's now come back to haunt them. And I'd like to see if these people, the balance of probabilities, sir, they're working under a 1099, which is okay. But I can virtually guarantee you they're not paying any taxes under that 1099. So they're in here, they're working, which is positive. They're making a reasonable living, which is positive.
Well, that's the thing. I don't think they're making a reasonable living. That's another whole situation that, like, what I've noticed is that they're, they're taking advantage of their own people, their own culture, their own religion, and they're underpaying these people a significant amount. So, like, it's really, if you really think about it, you're putting a bunch of lives in danger on the highway only for a small number of people to take advantage of it. And then instead of treating like these drivers like butter or paying them like a living wage, you're actually paying them less, putting several of them in a truck, and so on, which you know what I mean? Which they should get upset at their community and be like, hey, why did you guys take advantage of us like this? And, why are we getting underpaid? Why are we cutting the market? Why are we working as hard and then, getting way less money than what a normal truck driver should be getting as well? So I think there should be a revolt within themselves, like, hey, what the hell is going on? You know what I mean?
Bobby, I support that. But again, you got to take a look at the class system where these people originate, where you've got a gentleman usually that owns a company and everybody is subservient to him. Okay. And that's the problem. And no one will go against them. And well, what you're saying is 100% true. I know motor carriers in my area that are owned by the Indo community that are paying 35 cents a mile less.
Yeah, that's crazy.
35 cents a mile, which is ridiculous. That's almost 50 cents a mile less. And when they go to get their paycheck, there's a deduction for A, B, C, D, and E.
On top of 35 cents?
Yeah, it's serious, Bobby. Like if they happen to run a tire flat, if they happen to put a mark on a trailer, $200, $300, etc., like that. And these people aren't making any money, and it's terrible, and it's just driving the whole industry down. But this is all a custom of the trade where they're from.
Yeah, I know. That's a whole nother thing. It's a whole, like, I'm a strong believer that stereotypes are stereotypes for a reason, and I don't think they need to understand that, like, a lot of the stuff that people, like, it sucks that a lot of people are coming out like kind of like more racist with it. Like, they should come down a little bit cooler with that. But, like, you know what I mean? Like, the stereotypes are stereotypes for a reason, and a lot of stuff that they do. Like, look, man, like, I hate to say it, but, I'm 41, so, I mean, I've obviously been around the block a little bit. So there's a lot of complaints from the female community about Indian people. You know what I mean? There's also, like, the hygiene stuff. There's a lot of stuff that there's issues with. And I'm not saying it's all people. A lot of them came here, got accustomed to our culture. Or like, say, ones that were, like, a little bit wealthier from their country, then obviously they don't do stuff like that. But, like, if you really look at, like, like, I hate to, like, bring up movies, but, like, say, like, Slumdog Millionaire, or there was another one, that dude from Sons of Anarchy. There was, like, a show on Amazon, on Apple TV I watched, and the way, like, they live, like, in these third world countries, like, in the stuff they do, you know what I mean? Like, when they come here, and then it's like a reverse culture shock, because, like, American people, or, like, people here are looking at them doing this kind of stuff, and they're like, dude, what the hell are you doing? And, like, in their country, this stuff might be normal, but over here, it's not. And by them not speaking English, just coming straight here and getting these visas, getting these CDLs and driving, it's not giving them any time whatsoever to, like, culturally adapt at least a little bit into our culture, in order for people not to, be, like, saying like crazy stuff they're saying. You know what I mean? Because there's a way better way to go around it too. Like, they're super mad about the turban suburban thing, but like I'm Polish. Like, I heard a lot of Polish jokes, but that one's, like, kind of funny. But, like, I mean, obviously they're getting mad because, you know what I mean, it's their religion, culture, or whatever. But at the same time, like, at one point you just got to be like, okay, you got to take a look at, like, your culture and everything, and you got to, like, understand, like, why are people doing this or saying that? You know what I mean? Like, even, like I said, me growing up being discriminated against being Polish, I heard a bunch of this stuff like, oh, you dumb Polak, this and that. And yes, and I noticed that a lot of people that came from Poland, now with the same culture, I kind of understand why people would say that. So, like, instead of just, like, fighting back and resisting everything, I think they need to take a step back and be like, okay, I get it. This is where it's messed up. This is where we messed up. Let's try to fix it. But it's not. It's just keep on like trying to fight with like showing like white people that got in accidents, black people got in accidents, Mexican people that got in accidents. Like, dude, you're not going to help the situation like this. You're just going to make it a whole lot worse,
Like Bobby, I agree with everything you said. And the issue is bigger than one group.
It
That's
is.
the problem.
But unfortunately, they're the biggest group because they, like, I'm saying from the research I've been doing right now, like, especially like Washington, Northern California, I mean, like, they're heavy, like, that's well organized. You know what I mean?
Well, what's here, and it's organized by probably, I'm going to say, 6 driver schools. Okay. 6 driver schools in 6, companies of that culture. And again, the culture reverts back to a custom of the trade from where they originated from. They have not integrated into North American culture.
No, not at all.
No, and it's almost what it appears like on the surface. And I've been privileged to work and consult with some of them. It's turned by default us against them against us. And the only way we can survive here is to live in harmony. And if anybody has anything to say about the Polish people, what they should do is learn about the Second World War, because the Polish soldiers were the unsung heroes of those battles. They fought, they executed their plans, their strategies, and they were an amazing gift to the Allies.
Well, that's how my family got here, because one of my grandpa's brothers was in World War II, and then he got offered to come back with the American soldiers, so he took them up on offer and then started bringing my family in after that. So that's actually how my family weaseled into the country, was through after World War II, But yeah, it's just like, it's really crazy, dude. Like, I really try, like, looking at both situations, and then it's like there's just so many like negative factors going for them that, like, I can't really like just sit here and like support. I mean, I could be like, okay, stop with the racist stuff. That's not cool, all that, like that. But overall, the picture, dude, it's like you're just 100% at wrong. This is, obviously you're people that did this accident. I'm saying your people started the schools. Your people are just like fighting against this, like, completely wrong. Even though, like, a lot of this stuff I see that like the petition and the fundraising, I guess after talking to a lot of them, those things were done, just to stir up the pot more, and not, I think, not even by them, and those were like scams. So, like, obviously that kind of stuff happens too. But I would just really like that community to come out and just be like, okay, dude, we see what the hell we did wrong here. We understand the loopholes are done, and let's just go get past this,
But I agree with you, Bobby. It has to, because it's bigger than one group, and it leads into fraud. Okay, the shortcuts that this culture is taking, which is coming back to haunt them, it's gonna put a stain, a blight on this industry forever. And I don't know, Bobby, I've been around a bit, and my first truck strike was in 1976. Okay, there you go. Okay. And so at the end of the day, the only reason why that broke off is because truck stops ran out of food. Okay. But now it's everybody is in a race to the bottom. They don't understand what their costing is. And if there's a shortfall at the end of the month, they take it out of the driver. Okay. They can't take it out of their insurance. They can't take it out of their assets. They take it out of maintenance, and they take it out of the driver. And when a bid comes up or something like that, everybody says, well, I can do it for $1.10. Next person's $1.04. Next person's 96 cents. And they have no idea what their costing per mile is. And because they don't know what that costing per mile is, it ruins the whole industry.
Yeah, I mean, I think the industry's already to the point where it's like, but also there's a lot of like BS too with our industry too, man. Like, even like I was watching that Mother Trucker guy's last one, and he was showing the video of the president guy of the ATA and stuff like that. And even that guy just seems like he's full of crap, dude. They keep on pushing this driver shortage and all that kind of stuff, and dude, none of that stuff's real, dude. If the industry was good and it was paying when it's paying what it's supposed to, there'll be a line out the door for people to come back and start driving trucks. You know what I mean? But
the big issue is that, Bobby, they got to be treated with respect and dignity. Okay, these truck operators, they have a horrible life. Okay, they live in 40 square feet They can't park. They got to pay for park. The truck stops they eat in are less than stellar. They get no respect at a shipper, at a receiver. DOT looks them as a revenue generation system, not as a person, and it just goes and goes. And when you add the race to the bottom when it comes to pricing, with the fraud, the shortcuts, the race to the pricing, it just impacts the industry in all ways.
Well, if you're saying 35 cents less for a driver, dude, imagine 35 cents, right? So like if right now, just say for a drive-in, if the market, you know, the say the average national average is like 204, dude, depending on what company it is, that's not that far off from your operating expenses to operate the actual truck to go OTR. So if you got a 35-cent advantage, I mean, you could easily give the broker 15 cents less a mile, 15 cents less per mile than anybody else. You know what I mean? And you're still saving 20 cents to where you're making the money on it, which is absolutely crazy.
Bobby, that's exactly what's going on. That is my exact point. What I was getting to next, right? And the impact to the industry is absolutely phenomenal. And the people that own these companies, they don't care, because there is a huge, I know I've not been paid from an Indo company. There's Indo companies in the province of Ontario and Alberta that have not paid their drivers in months. Like, you know, I don't know why these drivers would stay there.
Well, I think most of them are living in the trucks and got nowhere else to go. That's, you know,
well, that's a big part of it. And the other part is they're scared of being deported. They're scared of being deported because these owners of these companies have, in essence, a noose around their neck where, you know, if you don't do what I do, you know, do what I say, etc., like that, you know, we're going to deport you. And that's why there's such a problem at Canada Customs when somebody's got 2 or 3 shipments on and the driver just walks in, hands the paperwork and leaves because he doesn't want to cause any disruption. He doesn't want to ask any questions because he's concerned that the Canada Customs or the U.S. Customs will potentially deport the individual. It's a hell of a way to live, Bobby. It is.
And I think that's again back to my point of them just taking advantage of their own people at that point, especially if you're, you know, scaring them with deportation or this and that, not having a job, and it's just I just couldn't see doing it. I know it happened a lot, like I said, in the Polish community as well. Like I've seen personally myself, like they'll fly people out here to do, like, you know, cheap construction labor. Then if nothing works out, they'll just like leave them stranded. I worked I worked at this when I was like 17. I think I worked at this Polish company to help people get like licenses and stuff like that and legal status. And this guys actually got raided by the feds like a while after I quit, because what they would do is they would like collect like whatever money they have, like say $15,000-$20,000. They told them they're going to get them legal through Canada. They drive them across the border and then they just leave them in Canada and just keep their money. You know what I mean? So I think it's like when you start taking advantage of like your like the weakness of, you know, your people that are like immigrants and stuff like that, that's just shady. I mean, you know, I'm all for like, you know, bending the rules and doing that kind of stuff. But when you're just taking advantage of your people like that, dude, and just screwing them over, that's just, you know, absolutely crazy.
I agree with you, Bobby, but here's the problem, okay? Well, here's what I see, okay? Once it starts, where does it stop? Okay, and that's why it can't start. Because what is non-acceptable on Monday is acceptable on Thursday. And then what was not acceptable on Thursday is acceptable on Sunday because it's in their best interest. And once again, this talk is good. But at the end of the day, what are we going to do to put a plan and a system in place, okay, to neutralize this? We're not going to stop it, because if we think we're going to stop it.
Do you have your phone by your computer or no? Because I think it's making like static noises from your microphone.
No. The phone's not on, sir. I'm sorry. But I guess we have to neutralize this. And the question is, how do we neutralize it?
Well, I mean, obviously we got to start to it. I just think it's, you know, day late, dollar short a little bit. I mean, we'll see what happens. But, you know, at this point, like I said, I don't know, because like I was expecting this last coming up week to be like super good. Like, I don't know what happened. I don't know if it's like the shippers are scared to send their freight out because they don't know what's going to happen with the ELP stuff, or because usually like right before a holiday there's a boom, and then like say Monday through Thursday it's crazy, and then Friday is dead because everybody's already on vacation or on vacation mode, or I mean, doesn't want to do shit before they leave for the long weekend. So I was really shocked the last week wasn't that great. I mean, we're going to see what the next couple weeks, because obviously today's the start of the fourth quarter. So the fourth quarter usually, I mean, even in a bad market, there's usually some kind of boom in the fourth quarter. So obviously we got the back to school stuff, and then, Halloween's coming up, Thanksgiving,
Exactly.
Christmas.
There you go, Bobby. You got okay. You had back to school. You have Halloween, which we should be in full swing mode now. Okay. From then we've got Thanksgiving, and then we've got Christmas.
Yeah.
And right now is the highest concentration where you make money, probably until U.S. Thanksgiving, last week in November. And usually everything's jammed, from party supplies to toys to Halloween costumes to Halloween candy, etc., like that. But Bobby, the ships have not come in from China. Okay, these finished goods have not come into the warehouses.
Well, I mean, Los Angeles is looking pretty good for freight for like a minute now. So I'm pretty sure the stuff's getting off the ship. It's just like, I just don't know. I mean, like, because the prior 9 weeks were like really good. Like not like really good, but like, way better than what we've experienced for the last few years. So, I mean, like I said, I just don't know. We'll see. I just think it was a huge scare this week. Because also a couple of people I talked to in brokers, they said the same thing as well. Their customers were kind of like sending out freight. So maybe next week, you know what I mean? Maybe hopefully it cools down. I know it's going to be a short week, but I mean, we'll see what happens, man. Hopefully it starts getting good.
I support you, Bobby. I support you. But once again, this has to be neutralized first. And Florida is taking the first steps to neutralize it, in my opinion. Okay. And what we have to do now is find a way to make an example. Could be a poor choice of words, out of a few carriers, a few individuals. And again, I'm of the belief that if you get caught with a truck operator not knowing English, an email or something should be sent to your insurer, and your insurer should be notified, because that is the lifeblood of this industry.
Yeah, but then again, we get into the same situation like we talked about in the first time we jumped on here, as those Indian-owned insurance companies, for example, too. Is anything going to happen with those guys? You know what I mean?
Okay, I have not seen that. Okay, in Canada here, I have not seen that where a motor carrier has got a Indo-owned insurance company. I have not seen that. Okay, I understand it's somewhat coming common in the U.S. Okay, but at the end of the day, if you lose your insurance, Bobby, okay, and you have a suspension of 2 years where you or someone in your family cannot get authorities and insurance, that's going to bite. Because what's happened here in Canada is these companies are going bankrupt left, right, and center. They're moving to another province, another jurisdiction. They're moving from Ontario into Alberta. And what they're doing is they're going through they're restarting under another name with the same officers, same directors, etc., like that. And so in essence, you've got 5 companies, 3 of them start up tomorrow. And some of them are taking the money and going back to India.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's absolutely wild. And then how are they going to replace, like, say, for example, they do got to stop with these drivers. How, like, are these companies that are, strictly based on getting these kind of drivers? Imagine now they got to find, a whole bunch of just regular drivers. That's going to be like impossible for them.
Well, that's a very valid point. It's going to be extremely tough. And then for them to pay fair market value is going to be impossible. Like there's in my area here, there's the Indo companies that are paying office people $10 an hour.
Yeah, that's great.
And they think that's too much. They're not giving them any benefits. They're getting no dental, no medical, no nothing. And it's just appalling.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the stuff's overseas. I know we even have people that, like from overseas, But at least like we hire people that actually speak good English, though. You know what I mean? But then like
Well,
a lot of these like Indian companies, they'll just have somebody like straight in India call, you know, and then they're calling you. And then and this is also why this is what this is also a big part why they're getting like a bad name, because like you get nonstop phone calls all day from like Indian people from India, like trying to offer you like dispatch services, like all day, like 10 calls a day, dude. And it's like to the point where it's like, I think they just jammed like so much stuff like in people's faces where people are like, dude, just like, you know, enough is enough a little bit, you know? And like I said, it sucks because like obviously you don't want to you don't want to plug everybody into the same hole from their you know, nationality or country or whatever. But at the same time, it's just like, you know, like numbers, you know, don't lie. And there's just so much like negative stuff that their community is doing that it's to the point where, you know, a lot of people are just like pissed off at this point.
I support that, and we're not being anti-Indian. You know, we're not being racial. We're not discriminating. We're not being anti-Indian. Okay, like I'm a North American Aboriginal. Okay, and you know my roots go back thousands of years on this land. That's not in dispute. Okay, but Bobby, I've welcomed you. Okay, you know that. I welcome everybody because fair is fair, right is right, and honest is honest. The problem we have is the balance has now been tipped. Then how do we get this balance neutral? We can't correct it overnight. That's not going to happen. But how do we get it neutralized? And
Well, I mean,
that's
if they start going back, like actually checking these licenses, then I think that's going to neutralize pretty fast. If they don't, then it might, you know, obviously just cutting off. I think what I think they should do is just like any CDL that was given, you know, against FMCSA regulations just needs to be revoked ASAP, and that's it. Like,
I think you're preaching to the choir,
you know.
and have their insurance pulled as well, because the owner of these companies know what's going on, Bobby.
But the only reason I don't agree with that, because like I said, these were loopholes that, you know what I mean, our government gave them, and they took advantage of it. And like that's what, you know, that's what people do in the world. You know, want to make money, take advantage of loopholes. You know, you just gotta shut the loopholes down, and if they keep violating, then obviously start, you know, going with harsher stuff. But like the number one thing is really they need to just any CDL that was, you know, I guess offensive relations, just get rid of it. Any driver that, you know, like right now, dude, I came here because I had to meet one of my buddies from Washington drivers to help him transload some stuff. The dude is from Africa. He came here. He spoke English very decently. You know what I mean? I could communicate with him, no problem. Super nice guy. Everything's good, right? But then like you have drivers that just don't speak no English, don't do any of that stuff, and then they come here to give you attitude, do this, do that, and it's like we can't have that. It's just way too much stuff that already happened, and not only like the lives it caused, but at this point it's like the harm it's causing the industry. Because
absolutely,
like,
Bobby.
yeah, I've never really like noticed this stuff till recently, but it's like at the point where it's like, dude, these rates are trash, and the whole time I'm blaming the market. It's like I'm like, oh, because the market sucks, there's not enough freight, blah blah blah. But it's really not. It's really all these people that are just undercutting these rates and just driving our
absolutely
our thing to shit, man.
And what happens, Bobby, in that community? I've known it. I've seen it. They go to the temple, and the worst one is their wives. Because their wives start, well, we've got 50 trucks. And it just goes, it just vacillates around and around in a circle. And it's terrible. And again, we're on sort of the same page. My position is we have to neutralize it first. There should be 60 days to neutralize this and then move forward in another 90 days, which gives it 150 days in order to try and right itself.
I mean, I see we're moving in the right direction, right? I mean, we definitely are moving in the right direction. So, you know, I know a lot of people are getting stopped. A lot of people are getting the ELP test. You know, there's, from what I see, there is people getting put out of service. It looks like the Sean Duffy, right?
Yeah.
It looks like he's doing a pretty decent job. You know, so far I can't complain. I mean, they're also, you know, with the emission stuff, I love that. Hopefully they release those people from jail. They got locked up for the DEF systems because that was just stupidity. I just don't understand why they did that. If a person that owns a truck want to take the risk and, you know, take off their own DEF, and some mechanic did it for him and he got paid for it, I don't think the mechanic should be in trouble for doing that. But I mean, it's a whole different story. But I mean, just like just like a lot of stuff needs to be fixed in trucking in America, dude. It's just like just the regulations too. I mean, it really started going to shit with the ELDs. You know what I mean? Like, because the ELDs really did mess up a lot of stuff. Now we got like, you know, this immigrant stuff going on, and then we got, you know, then we got like highway care. I mean, there's so much shit that just needs like fixing, and all the other stuff is gonna like fix itself, because all these regulations and like all this stuff that like highways doing, carrier for one's doing, all this stuff is not going to matter when the market gets hot and they need to start moving freight. You know what I mean? Then they're going to start forgetting about, you know, they're going to be like, oh, okay, we got to ease out of this a little bit, because like these, like highway, for example, is messing up so many companies, and it's restricting these brokers from using the carriers they should be using because of stupid like VINs or like an address or anything like that. And it's like really putting a chokehold on it. But once the market gets hot, then these brokers are going to realize like, oh shit, okay, maybe we should calm down on this crazy regulation stuff that we have against like companies that, you know, really we shouldn't be doing it against.
Okay, I lost a huge customer once, very big customer. What happened is we had an asset. We applied for an overweight permit in North Dakota, and somebody made a keystroke error, entered the same VIN as what our tractor is, and we had to wait almost 5 days to get it sorted out through Nova Permits. Nova Permits were amazing. They went to North Dakota, and they said somebody years ago made a keystroke error. This VIN is right. Here's the ownership of the vehicle, etc., etc. And that was horrible, Bobby. We lost a customer over it. They even went to the customer and they said, hey, Armstrong's in the right here. He's done nothing wrong. It's the people in North Dakota that won't issue that permit because somebody years ago made a keystroke error.
Yeah, it's crazy, bro. Especially with this highway stuff, dude. Like you could have because I mean, like remote dispatching is obviously like, especially after the pandemic, is you know, pretty normal industry standard at this point. But if you got a dispatcher that's working out of his house with his IP address and he worked for a different company before, or say for example that dispatcher's maybe like working for a couple different companies, you know what I mean? And then one of the companies that he registered on the highway with his IP did something bad, and now he's trying to book or set up on highway through a broker under his same IP, right away that's going to block you in highway system because the same IP address set up a packet that's set it up for a different company. You know what I mean? Which is absolutely crazy, dude. Like, that's just nuts. Like,
I support that, Bobby. And what's happening is computers are becoming so integrated with our lifestyle, especially we ain't seen anything yet till with artificial intelligence, trust me. But they can't think and they can't make a common sense decision. And that is a problem. It's a problem. But on the other hand, take a look at the fraud, Bobby. We had stuff double brokered on me, which I couldn't believe.
Yeah, but that's not going to help fraud though, dude. Fraud is like, you could easily, like, if you really just take a little bit of time, you could easily like you know what I mean. There's enough tools for that just to get around fraud. Because like fraud is usually like right now, like unless you know the normal companies like they'll broken, but a lot of them are just changing the email a little bit. You know what I mean? But it is, fraud is getting crazy though, because they're getting to the point where they're breaking into people's the safer list, the MCS 150 forms, changing them without people knowing, changing their information. I mean, like, you know, it's wild. You know what I mean? It's wild.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And on top of that, the amount of internal theft. Okay, where somebody in operations, somebody in planning, somebody somewhere is feeding an external source all this information, the trailer, the commodity, when it's dropped, where it's going to be dropped, etc., is just causing a blight like you would not believe.
Oh, trust me, I know that we're going through. I don't want to talk about it right now because it's probably gonna, you know, some like ongoing investigations and stuff. But I mean, the police department are obviously, dude, they are horrible at this. Like,
exactly,
this should be
they
so easy.
touch it.
Yeah, dude, it should be so easy. Like literally right now, give me like a week, give me a brokerage MC number, and give me a warehouse of police officers, and I will bring you 100 fucking fake carriers trying to come pick up a load. You could bust them live. Because it is so simple to get these guys, because you could just tell when somebody's trying to scam you. So like all you got to do is get a brokerage and start posting like say copper or some kind of expensive commodity, and all these, especially out of Los Angeles, dude. And all these guys are gonna be calling you, trying to get these loads, and then all you do is you fucking come. They get them. They're in probably stolen trucks, fake signs, and then you could just bust these guys all day, dude, just like a sting operation, like nothing. But these cops just don't give two shits, dude.
Exactly, Bobby. I will never disagree with you on that point. You're 100% right.
And they really need to get their shit in order too, dude. Because I mean, that's a big thing. You know what I mean? Like they really need to start like busting people and making examples out of them. Because if not, it's just going to continue. You know what I mean? And then the whole thing with like insurance. And then a lot of carriers should be responsible too, dude. Because if you get your MCS 150 form changed and you don't realize that in 6 months, I mean, you're obviously doing something wrong with your company.
Well, absolutely, and that's why I'm such a proponent. And some people disagree with me, and even you, which is fine. That's why you've got to concentrate on who is the benefactor, whose name, address is on the line. A with the DOT, B with the MC, C with the insurer. And that's where it's got to start, in my opinion. If you can take out a few of them, okay, and set an example for the rest of everyone, that will definitely make people stand up, okay, because their disposition is they can get a driver anywhere, and if they paid 50 cents a mile, they're going to pay 45 cents a mile to the next guy. Get him out of school, doesn't understand English, and it just goes down and down. It becomes revolving. And again, this is not an anti-culture speech. This is not an anti-Indian speech, okay? This is bigger than one group. It's got to be identified, and it's got to be sorted out throughout the whole industry. And it appears Florida is a catalyst. What happened with that driver in Tennessee who was going the wrong way? The man is 75 years old. I spoke to Raj Transport out of Kentucky. You could not ask for better people. You could tell the honesty when he spoke to me. He's been there for several years. He's 75 years old.
Was he having a health condition or something?
That's correct. It was a major medical incident. They took him from there to the hospital. He was in ICU for 3 days, and then they put him in, I'm going to say, general population in the hospital. Mm-hmm. I don't know what else to say it. He was there for a few days and then released to the police. That is an unfortunate situation. It had nothing to do with the culture, an Indian culture. He was Western culture. He's 75 years old. He's been there for 10 years, and they never had a problem with him.
Yeah, as soon as I see that, I see in Raj Transport, I'm like, oh boy, here they go again. Here they go
exactly. and you know, it's terrible we think like that, because I hate to say it, I thought like that too. I did. I hate that. I'll admit that. Yes. You know, and that's why I made the choice to call to clear my own mind. But the
damn, well, there's something super static on the line for some reason. I don't know if it's from my end or your end, but it's super static. Okay, it's better now. Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
No. Yeah, I think it's from your end, Roger. I think it's. It sounds like there's like a interfere. Is your phone close to you?
No.
It's not.
Is that you?
No, it's because I can hear myself clearly. It's like whenever you're talking. Where's your microphone at? I can't hear you, whatever. Where's your mic at?
My mic is at 73.
No, I'm saying, is your microphone on your computer, or is it like by you? Okay. No, now I can't hear you at all. Super staticky.
I don't know what to say.
Yeah, it's completely nothing.
Okay, can you hear me now?
It's like barely, and it's like super staticky.
Yeah, so I can.
We got to get you a microphone, Roger.
Okay, well, I've got one here. Okay, so now I gotta go to audio. Right?
Yeah. Probably gonna be in their Bluetooth, I'm guessing.
Okay, can you hear me now?
No, it's still the same shit, super staticky.
Okay, can you hear me now?
I mean, I can hear you, but it's like super bad and staticky.
Okay, because I can hear you perfect with this headset.
Yeah, it's super weird. I have no idea. We got some kind of issue. But all right, whatever, Roger. We'll do it again soon, dude. I mean, it's already. I think we've been on for like a while. How long? We've been on, like 41 minutes. So we'll do it again another time, man. I appreciate you taking your time. I'm gonna get my ass home too to my kids, so I can spend at least the rest of the Labor Day weekend with them. And yeah, I appreciate you, man. We'll talk again. We'll get you.
Bobby.
We'll get you a microphone. I'll send you over a microphone. I think I have an extra one somewhere.